Okay, so I'm going to read this quote by Alan Watts and I'm going to give some thoughts on that. Alan Watts says, "The source of all light is in the eye. If there were no eyes in this world, the sun would not be light. You evoke light out of the universe. In the same way, you, by virtue of soft skin, evoke hardness out of wood. Wood is only hard in relation to a soft skin. It's your eardrum that evokes noise out of the air. You, by being this organism, called into being the whole universe of light and color and hardness and heaviness and everything." So that's the Alan Watts quotes. So Alan Watts promotes the idea that characteristics of things are relative. And we can eliminate any possibility of confusion of this idea with the if a tree falls down and nobody is there to hear any noise, does it still make noise idea by describing why it is different. So Alan seems to be talking about how perception is what allows the relative characteristics of things to exist. That the sound of the tree is not the sound of the tree until it is perceived. In that way, your perception creates the universe. And this is different than, the question about the tree, because the tree is not seen as something external and separate from the human being when Alan talks about it. He thinks that you are the entire universe. He believes that the universe exists only in relationship to the people who see it. In other words, the universe is you and what you perceive. So you see, the tree can't make a noise because it doesn't exist if you're not perceiving it. In other words, there's no perception without a perceiver. Is this true? I don't know if it's true, but it's certainly not the only possibility. A universe can exist without a being inhabiting it is another possibility. And this is not the same as saying that the perception can exist without the perceiver. I'm talking about reality and not the way we perceive it. Reality can exist without having anything to do with any perception of it. This is to say, for example, that a tree can have a certain density and exist without a perceiver. You might not be able to claim that it is hard or soft because those are relative terms, but nevertheless, it can still exist with non-relative characteristics. That is to say that its atoms can be placed a certain distance from each other regardless of us perceiving it. Now, I'm not saying this is true, but rather I'm saying it's another possibility. I'm saying there is no particular reason to assume the idea Alan presents is correct or incorrect.